Elon Musk warns of a $50 trillion real estate bubble in China. That's more than twice the size of the entire US economy. Could this bubble burst and trigger a global financial meltdown? The potential consequences are staggering. A collapse of this magnitude could send shockwaves through the global economy, affecting trade, investment, and financial markets worldwide. Adding to China's economic woes, young Chinese are increasingly challenging the CCP's rules. This generational shift is putting pressure on Xi Jinping's leadership and the country's political stability. The combination of economic fragility and social unrest could create a perfect storm for China's future. Musk's concerns about China's economy go beyond just the real estate sector. He points to fundamental issues in the country's economic model, energy dependence, and global competitiveness. As we dive deeper into Musk's analysis, we'll uncover the complex web of challenges facing the world's second-largest economy and what it means for the rest of the world. While Musk points out China's current economic vulnerabilities, it's crucial to examine the foundation of its economic miracle. In the late 1970s, China embarked on a journey that would reshape the global economy. What sparked this transformation? And how did it lead to 4 decades of unprecedented growth? The answer lies in a series of bold reforms initiated by Deng Xiaoping. These reforms opened China to global trade and investment, setting the stage for an economic boom that would last for nearly 40 years. China achieved an astonishing average annual GDP growth of over 9% during this period, a feat that most countries can only dream of. Deng's reforms were revolutionary for their time. They included the establishment of special economic zones, which encouraged trade and investment through market-friendly policies. These zones acted as laboratories for economic experimentation, allowing China to cautiously test capitalist principles within its socialist framework. One of the most striking examples of this transformation is the city of Shenzhen. Once a small fishing village, Shenzhen became one of the first special economic zones. Today, it's a sprawling metropolis and a global tech hub, symbolizing China's rapid industrialization and economic ascent. China's economic model during this period was heavily reliant on manufacturing and exports. The strategy was simple but effective: build products for global sale and use the profits to fuel further development. This approach turned China into the world's factory, attracting billions in foreign investment and creating millions of jobs. By 2001, when China joined the World Trade Organization, WTO, it was already on a clear path to becoming an economic superpower. WTO membership further accelerated China's integration into the global economy, opening up new markets and opportunities for its rapidly expanding manufacturing sector. However, this export-driven model also created vulnerabilities. China's economy became heavily dependent on global demand for its products. Any disruptions in international markets could potentially have severe impacts on China's manufacturing sector and, by extension, its entire economy. This reliance on exports and manufacturing also led to imbalances in China's economic development. Coastal regions, where most factories were located, saw rapid growth and urbanization. Meanwhile, inland areas often lagged behind, creating significant regional disparities in wealth and development. As we look at China's economic journey, it's important to note that the very factors that fueled its remarkable rise may now be contributing to its current challenges. The focus on exports and investment-led growth, while incredibly successful for decades, has led to issues such as overcapacity in certain industries and a potential real estate bubble. China's economic success story might be heading for an unexpected plot twist. While its rapid industrialization has been the envy of the world, a hidden Achilles heel threatens to undermine decades of progress. What crucial factor has Elon Musk identified as China's potential economic downfall? Elon Musk, known for his keen insights into global economic trends, has recently voiced concerns about the sustainability of China's economic model. His analysis suggests that the very factors that propelled China's remarkable growth may now be contributing to its vulnerabilities. At the heart of this issue lies China's heavy reliance on manufacturing and exports, a strategy that has served the country well for decades, but is now showing signs of strain. One of the most significant challenges facing China's economy is its dependence on energy imports, particularly crude oil. As the world's largest crude oil importer, China's manufacturing sector is highly vulnerable to fluctuations in global energy markets. Any spike in oil prices or disruptions in the supply chain can have severe repercussions for China's industrial output and, by extension, its overall economic stability. Musk highlights that the rising cost of energy is becoming a major hurdle for China's manufacturing sector. The country's industrial base, which has long been the engine of its economic growth, is largely powered by fossil fuels. As global energy prices continue to climb, the cost of production in China is also increasing, potentially eroding its competitive edge in the global market. This situation creates a complex dilemma for China. On one hand, the country needs to maintain its manufacturing prowess to sustain economic growth and employment. On the other hand, the increasing energy costs are putting pressure on profit margins and making it harder for Chinese companies to compete internationally. This scenario raises questions about the long-term viability of China's export-driven economic model. The interconnectedness of the global economy further complicates China's situation. Any significant disruption in China's manufacturing sector could have far-reaching consequences, not just for China, but for the entire world. Many countries and companies rely heavily on Chinese products and components, meaning that problems in China's industrial sector could quickly ripple through global supply chains. Moreover, China's economic challenges extend beyond just the manufacturing sector. The country's rapid industrialization and urbanization have led to significant environmental issues, including air pollution and water scarcity. Addressing these problems will require substantial investments, potentially diverting resources from other areas of the economy and further straining the country's financial system. Another factor to consider is the changing nature of global trade. As more countries seek to reduce their dependence on imports and build up their own manufacturing capabilities, China may find it increasingly difficult to maintain its position as the world's factory. This shift could have profound implications for China's economic model, which has relied heavily on export-driven growth. The potential instability in China's economy also raises concerns about its impact on global financial markets. Given China's size and importance in the world economy, any significant downturn could trigger a domino effect, affecting stock markets, commodity prices, and currency values around the world. While global markets watch China nervously, a hidden threat lurks within its borders. What if the next financial crisis isn't just brewing in China, but could dwarf the 2008 US meltdown? Elon Musk warns of a $50 trillion bubble that could redefine economic catastrophe. The real estate sector in China has long been a cornerstone of its economic growth, but it's now showing signs of severe instability. Musk's warning about a $50 trillion real estate bubble is not just alarming, it's potentially catastrophic. To put this in perspective, this bubble is more than twice the size of the entire US economy. The implications of such a massive economic risk are staggering, potentially triggering a global financial meltdown that could make the 2008 crisis look like a minor setback. One of the most concerning aspects of China's real estate situation is the concentration of wealth in property. Approximately 60% of Chinese household wealth is tied up in real estate, compared to only 23% in the US. This stark difference highlights the vulnerability of Chinese families to a potential market collapse. If the housing market were to crash, it could lead to widespread financial ruin, wiping out the savings of an entire generation. Adding to the precarious situation, construction in China continues at a rapid pace despite millions of unsold homes. This ongoing building frenzy is contributing to an unsustainable real estate bubble. The concept of ghost cities has become a symbol of this overinvestment, where entire neighborhoods and cities have been built but remain largely uninhabited. These empty developments represent a significant misallocation of resources, with many projects intended to stimulate growth failing to materialize into actual economic activity. The real estate sector's outsized role in China's economy further magnifies the potential impact of a housing market crash. Musk emphasizes that the real estate sector constitutes about 29% of China's GDP, a stark contrast to the US, where it contributes between 15 to 18%. This dependency on real estate for economic growth creates a precarious situation where any significant downturn in the property market could have far-reaching consequences for the entire Chinese economy. The risks associated with China's debt-driven growth model are becoming increasingly apparent. As Musk points out, pouring more borrowed money into these kinds of projects isn't sustainable. This strategy of using debt to fuel economic growth, particularly in the real estate sector, has created a bubble that's becoming increasingly difficult to sustain. The potential bursting of this bubble could trigger a chain reaction, affecting not just the real estate market, but the entire financial system of China. The situation in China's housing market bears some similarities to the conditions that led to the 2008 financial crisis in the US. However, the scale and potential impact of China's real estate bubble could be far more severe. The concentration of wealth in property, combined with the sector's larger share of GDP, means that a crash in China's housing market could have devastating consequences not just for China, but for the global economy as a whole. The empty homes and ghost cities in China are more than just curiosities. They're symptoms of a deeper economic problem. These developments represent billions of dollars of investment that are currently sitting idle, not generating the economic activity they were intended to create. This misallocation of resources on such a massive scale raises serious questions about the sustainability of China's economic model and its ability to maintain the high growth rates it has enjoyed in recent decades. These empty developments are symptoms of a far more insidious problem. China's economic engine isn't just sputtering, it's running on borrowed time and borrowed money. With debt levels soaring past 280% of GDP, could China be steering towards a financial cliff that makes the 2008 crisis look like a speed bump? China's economic growth has been fueled by an enormous amount of debt, particularly through state-owned enterprises, SOEs. These government-controlled companies often follow political directives rather than market signals, leading to questionable investments and inefficient allocation of resources. Elon Musk warns that this debt-driven growth model is unsustainable, stating, pouring more borrowed money into these kinds of projects isn't sustainable, and at some point, the bill for these bad investments will come due. The scale of China's debt problem is staggering. Local governments have borrowed heavily to fund infrastructure projects, resulting in many questionable investments. Roads leading to nowhere and empty airports have become symbols of China's debt-fueled expansion. These projects, while boosting short-term GDP figures, fail to generate long-term economic value and leave local governments struggling to repay their debts. China's real estate sector, which accounts for about 29% of its GDP, is deeply intertwined with this debt problem. This is a stark contrast to the US, where real estate contributes only 15 to 18% to the economy. The outsized role of real estate in China's economy means that any significant downturn in the property market could have far-reaching consequences for the entire financial system. The banking sector in China is particularly vulnerable to these economic pressures. State-owned banks are sitting on mountains of bad debt, much of it tied to the real estate market and local government projects. If the housing market crashes or local governments default on their loans, these banks could face a severe liquidity crisis. Musk warns that a financial crisis in China could trigger a systemic collapse, leading to widespread unemployment and potentially a global recession. Adding to the complexity of the situation is China's shadow banking sector. As traditional banks become more cautious about lending, developers and businesses have turned to this less regulated sector for credit. This shift increases financial risk, especially as defaults rise in the real estate market. The growth of shadow banking makes it difficult for regulators to accurately assess and manage the overall level of risk in the financial system. The interconnectedness of China's economy with the global financial system amplifies the potential impact of a debt crisis. A significant economic downturn in China could send shockwaves through global markets, affecting everything from commodity prices to currency values. Countries and companies that rely heavily on trade with China could find themselves particularly vulnerable to economic disruptions. Musk describes China's debt problem as a ticking time bomb, emphasizing that the country is rapidly approaching a point where the accumulated debt will become a serious problem. He warns, when the banks go under, it's not just a matter of a few bad loans here and there. The potential for a cascading series of defaults and bank failures could lead to a financial crisis that dwarfs previous economic downturns. While China's internal debt crisis is alarming, its global impact could be even more severe. Did you know that China is the top trading partner for over 120 countries? This interconnectedness means that when China sneezes, the rest of the world might catch a cold, or worse. Elon Musk warns that China's economic troubles could have far-reaching consequences, affecting economies and consumers worldwide. China's role as a global economic powerhouse is undeniable. Its vast manufacturing sector and insatiable appetite for raw materials have made it an integral part of the global supply chain. When China's economy slows down, it's not just a problem for China, it's a problem for the entire world. Consider the impact on countries that rely heavily on trade with China. Australia and Brazil, for example, are major suppliers of raw materials to China's industries. If China's demand for these materials decreases, these countries could see significant economic impacts. This ripple effect extends to numerous other nations that depend on China for their economic well-being. But the consequences of China's economic woes aren't limited to its trading partners. The global supply chain, which has become increasingly dependent on Chinese manufacturing, could face severe disruptions. Nearly everything we purchase has components made in or pass through China. If Chinese factories stop producing at their usual capacity, it could lead to shortages and price increases for goods worldwide. Musk emphasizes that this interconnectedness means a crisis in China could lead to higher prices for everyday goods and shortages in various markets. Imagine walking into your local store and finding empty shelves where your favorite products used to be, or seeing prices double or triple overnight. This scenario isn't just hypothetical, it's a potential reality if China's economy falters. The impact on global trade could be staggering. A slowdown in China would likely lead to fewer exports and imports globally. This reduction in trade could trigger a domino effect, causing economic slowdowns in countries that rely heavily on international commerce. The result could be job losses, reduced consumer spending, and potentially even recessions in various parts of the world. Moreover, China's economic challenges could have significant implications for global financial markets. As the world's second-largest economy, any instability in China can send shockwaves through stock markets, commodity prices, and currency values worldwide. Investors and businesses around the globe are keeping a close eye on China's economic indicators, knowing that trouble in China could quickly translate to trouble in their own financial portfolios. It's important to note that China's influence extends beyond just manufacturing and trade. The country has become a major player in global investment and development projects, particularly through its Belt and Road Initiative. If China's economy stumbles, these international projects could be put on hold or abandoned altogether, affecting development plans in numerous countries. The potential for a global economic slowdown, triggered by China's troubles, is a concern that Musk and other experts are taking seriously. The interconnected nature of the modern global economy means that no country is immune to the economic challenges faced by major players like China. As consumers, investors, and global citizens, we need to be aware of these potential risks and prepare for the possibility of economic turbulence. As we brace for potential economic turbulence, an often overlooked factor emerges as a game-changer for China's future. Energy, the lifeblood of any modern economy, might just be China's greatest weakness. How could China's energy challenges reshape not only its economy, but the global balance of power? Elon Musk, known for his keen insights into global economic trends, has raised a red flag about China's energy model. He warns that the country's current approach is unsustainable, especially as global energy prices become increasingly volatile due to geopolitical tensions. This vulnerability could have far-reaching consequences for China's economic stability and its position on the world stage. China's heavy reliance on foreign oil is at the heart of this issue. As the world's largest crude oil importer, China's manufacturing sector is highly susceptible to fluctuations in global energy markets. Any spike in oil prices or disruptions in the supply chain can have severe repercussions for China's industrial output and, by extension, its overall economic stability. The rising cost of energy is becoming a major hurdle for China's manufacturing sector. The country's industrial base, which has long been the engine of its economic growth, is largely powered by fossil fuels. As global energy prices continue to climb, the cost of production in China is also increasing, potentially eroding its competitive edge in the global market. Musk emphasizes the urgency for China to pivot towards renewable energy sources like solar and wind to reduce its dependence on foreign oil. He states, "Relying on fossil fuels in the long term is risky, especially when you're as dependent on foreign energy as China is." This shift isn't just about environmental concerns. It's a matter of economic security and sustainability. The geopolitical landscape poses a significant risk to China's energy security. Any disruption in global oil supplies could lead to skyrocketing prices, further straining China's economy. This vulnerability is particularly concerning, given the increasing tensions in various oil-producing regions and the potential for conflict to disrupt supply chains. China has already made some moves toward green energy, but Musk believes they need to double down on these efforts to stabilize their economy. Transitioning to renewable energy could not only secure China's energy supply, but also position it as a global leader in the clean energy market. This shift could create new industries, jobs, and export opportunities, potentially offsetting some of the challenges faced by traditional manufacturing sectors. However, this transition comes with its own set of challenges. Developing and implementing renewable energy infrastructure on a scale large enough to meet China's enormous energy needs requires significant investment and time. It also involves complex technological and logistical challenges that can't be overcome overnight. The impact of China's energy challenges extends far beyond its borders. As the world's second-largest economy and a major player in global trade, any significant disruption in China's energy supply or a sharp increase in its production costs could have ripple effects throughout the global economy. Industries worldwide that rely on Chinese manufacturing could face supply chain disruptions and increased costs. Moreover, China's pivot towards renewable energy could dramatically reshape global energy markets. If China successfully reduces its dependence on fossil fuels, it could lead to significant shifts in global oil demand and prices, affecting oil-producing nations and reshaping geopolitical relationships. While China's energy transition captures global attention, a less visible threat simmers beneath the surface. Hidden from regulatory oversight, a vast network of unofficial loans has silently grown to staggering proportions. Could this shadow banking system be the tipping point that pushes China's economy over the edge? Shadow banking in China refers to all loans and financial products that exist outside of the formal banking system. This sector has significantly expanded over the past decade as developers and businesses seek credit when traditional banks tighten lending standards. The growth of shadow banking indicates a lack of confidence in traditional banking, which could lead to a vicious cycle of increased borrowing and risk, further destabilizing the economy. These shadow loans often come with higher interest rates and shorter repayment terms, making them riskier and more susceptible to defaults. This is especially concerning as the real estate market faces challenges. Elon Musk warns that the intertwining of shadow banking with the formal banking system means that a crisis in one could quickly spread to the other, potentially leading to systemic financial instability. The reliance on shadow banking amplifies China's financial risks. Musk emphasizes this point, stating, "As defaults in the real estate market rise, so do defaults in the shadow banking sector." This interconnectedness creates a domino effect where problems in one area of the economy can quickly cascade into others, magnifying the overall impact. China's four largest banks, all state-owned, are heavily exposed to real estate loans. If the real estate bubble bursts, these banks could face severe liquidity crises. The potential collapse of China's banking system due to bad loans in the real estate sector could trigger a financial crisis that extends beyond China, impacting global markets. The shadow banking sector's growth presents significant challenges for regulators. Traditional financial oversight mechanisms are often ill-equipped to monitor and control this unofficial lending network. This regulatory blind spot makes it difficult to accurately assess the true extent of financial risk in China's economy, potentially leading to underestimated vulnerabilities. The implications of a shadow banking crisis in China extend far beyond its borders. Given China's position as the world's second-largest economy and its deep integration into global supply chains, any significant financial instability could have far-reaching consequences. A crisis in China's shadow banking sector could lead to a credit crunch, slowing economic growth and disrupting international trade. Moreover, the shadow banking system's opacity makes it difficult for investors and policymakers to gauge the true health of China's economy. This uncertainty could lead to volatility in global financial markets as investors struggle to assess and price risk accurately. The potential for sudden and unexpected financial shocks increases, creating an atmosphere of unease in international financial circles. The shadow banking threat also highlights the broader challenges facing China's economic model. As the country attempts to transition from an export-driven economy to one based more on domestic consumption, managing financial risks becomes increasingly complex. The shadow banking sector's growth reflects the difficulties in this transition, as businesses and individuals seek alternative sources of credit to fuel growth. As China grapples with its economic transition, another critical factor looms on the horizon. What if the very foundation of China's financial stability, its currency, is at risk of crumbling? The yuan's stability has long been a pillar of China's economic strength, but recent pressures might force drastic measures with far-reaching consequences. Elon Musk, known for his keen insights into global economic trends, has raised concerns about the mounting pressure on the Chinese yuan. As China's economy slows down, maintaining a stable exchange rate against the US dollar is becoming increasingly challenging for the government. This situation puts China in a precarious position, potentially forcing it to make difficult decisions that could have significant ripple effects across the global economy. One of the most pressing issues is the possibility of yuan devaluation. Musk suggests that China might be compelled to devalue its currency to stimulate economic growth by making its exports more competitive in the global market. However, this strategy comes with substantial risks. A sharp devaluation of the yuan could lead to increased costs for imports, especially for essential goods like energy and food, which China heavily relies on. The impact of currency devaluation extends beyond trade balances. Musk points out that devaluing the yuan could trigger inflation, making everyday goods more expensive for Chinese consumers. This could potentially reduce consumer spending, further exacerbating the economic slowdown. The delicate balance between stimulating exports and maintaining domestic purchasing power presents a significant challenge for Chinese policymakers. Another concern, highlighted by Musk, is the risk of capital flight. If wealthy individuals and businesses anticipate a devaluation, they might move their assets out of China to protect them from the effects of currency depreciation. This could lead to a vicious cycle, where the outflow of capital further weakens the yuan, potentially necessitating more drastic measures from the government. Musk emphasizes the potential global implications of China's currency troubles. Given China's position as the world's second-largest economy and its deep integration into global supply chains, any significant fluctuations in the yuan's value could have far-reaching consequences. A devaluation of the yuan could disrupt global trade relationships, potentially leading to currency wars or trade disputes with other major economies. The balancing act China faces in managing its currency amid economic challenges is complex. On one hand, allowing the yuan to depreciate could provide some relief to exporters and stimulate economic growth. On the other hand, it could lead to inflation, capital outflows, and international tensions. Musk notes, devaluing the yuan might provide some short-term relief, but it could cause even bigger problems down the road if not handled carefully. China's currency woes also highlight the broader challenges facing its economic model. As the country attempts to transition from an export-driven economy to one based more on domestic consumption, managing financial risks becomes increasingly complex. The pressure on the yuan reflects the difficulties in this transition, as policymakers struggle to maintain stability while implementing necessary reforms. The global financial community is closely watching China's currency moves. Any significant changes in the yuan's value could lead to volatility in global currency markets, affecting exchange rates worldwide. This uncertainty could impact international trade, investment flows, and even monetary policies in other countries. While global markets watch China's currency, Elon Musk is looking at something else entirely. What radical shift does he believe could save China's economy from collapse? The answer might surprise even seasoned economists. Elon Musk, known for his innovative thinking, has proposed a bold prescription for China's economic challenges. At the heart of his recommendation is a fundamental shift in China's economic model. Musk argues that China needs to move away from its traditional investment-led growth strategy and embrace a consumption-driven economy. This transition, he believes, is crucial for China's long-term economic survival and prosperity. For decades, China's growth has been fueled by massive investments in infrastructure, real estate, and manufacturing. While this approach has yielded impressive results, Musk warns that it's no longer sustainable. The real estate market in particular has become a major concern. With millions of unsold homes and entire ghost cities standing empty, continuing to pour money into property development is a recipe for disaster. Instead, Musk emphasizes the importance of boosting domestic consumption. He suggests that China should focus on policies that encourage its citizens to spend more. This could involve measures such as improving social safety nets, increasing wages, and providing better access to healthcare and education. By putting more money in the pockets of ordinary Chinese citizens and giving them the confidence to spend it, China could create a more balanced and sustainable economic model. But Musk's vision for China's economic future goes beyond just shifting from investment to consumption. He sees innovation and technology as key drivers of China's next phase of growth. In Musk's view, China needs to move beyond its role as the world's factory and become a leader in high-tech industries. This means investing in research and development, fostering a culture of innovation, and developing cutting-edge technologies. However, Musk warns that China's past strategy of copying foreign technology is no longer viable. To become a true global leader in innovation, China needs to develop its own original technologies and respect intellectual property rights. This is particularly crucial in high-tech industries, where intellectual property is often the most valuable asset. Musk also highlights the importance of allowing market forces to play a bigger role in China's economy. He suggests that the Chinese government should step back from its heavy-handed approach to economic management and allow companies to succeed or fail based on their own merits. This would encourage more efficient allocation of resources and foster genuine innovation. The shift Musk proposes is not without challenges. Transitioning from an investment-led to a consumption-driven economy would require significant structural changes. It would likely lead to short-term economic pain, as inefficient industries are phased out and new ones take their place. However, Musk argues that this transition is necessary for China's long-term economic health and global competitiveness. Moreover, embracing a more open approach to innovation and intellectual property rights would require a significant cultural shift within China's business and political spheres. It would mean moving away from the protectionist policies that have sheltered many Chinese companies from global competition. As China grapples with these monumental changes, a critical question emerges. Can the world's second-largest economy adapt quickly enough to avoid a catastrophic downturn? The answer lies in a delicate balance of reform, innovation, and strategic decision-making that could make or break China's economic powerhouse. Elon Musk's insights into China's economic challenges paint a picture of a nation at a crossroads, facing significant hurdles but also potential opportunities for transformative growth. China's economy is confronting a perfect storm of challenges. The real estate bubble, estimated at a staggering 50 trillion, threatens to destabilize the entire financial system. Local governments are struggling under the weight of massive debts, while the shadow banking sector introduces additional risks to an already precarious situation. The country's heavy reliance on energy imports exposes it to geopolitical vulnerabilities, and its traditional growth model based on exports and investments is showing signs of exhaustion. However, these challenges also present opportunities for China to reinvent its economic model. Musk suggests that China needs to pivot towards a consumption-driven economy, moving away from its reliance on real estate and infrastructure investments. This transition would require significant policy changes, including improving social safety nets, increasing wages, and providing better access to healthcare and education. By empowering its citizens to spend more, China could create a more balanced and sustainable economic foundation. Innovation and technology development are key areas where China could find new sources of growth. Musk emphasizes the importance of China becoming a leader in high-tech industries rather than just being the world's factory. This shift would require substantial investments in research and development, fostering a culture of innovation and developing original technologies. However, to achieve this, China needs to address concerns about intellectual property rights and move beyond its past strategy of technology transfer or copying. The transition to a more sustainable energy model presents another significant opportunity. China's current reliance on fossil fuels, particularly imported oil, is a major economic vulnerability. By accelerating its adoption of renewable energy sources like solar and wind, China could not only enhance its energy security but also position itself as a global leader in clean energy technologies. This shift could create new industries, jobs, and export opportunities, potentially offsetting some of the challenges faced by traditional manufacturing sectors. Experts are divided on China's ability to navigate these challenges successfully. Some point to China's track record of economic management and its ability to implement large-scale reforms as reasons for optimism. They argue that China's centralized decision-making process could allow for rapid implementation of necessary changes. Others are more skeptical, citing the entrenched interests that benefit from the current economic model and the potential for social unrest as obstacles to significant reforms. The path forward for China is not without risks. Transitioning from an investment-led to a consumption-driven economy could lead to short-term economic pain, as inefficient industries are phased out. There's also the challenge of managing this transition without triggering a financial crisis, given the high levels of debt in the economy. Additionally, embracing a more open approach to innovation and intellectual property rights would require a significant cultural shift within China's business and political spheres. Global implications of China's economic reforms cannot be overstated. As the world's second-largest economy and a major player in global trade, any significant changes in China's economic model will have far-reaching consequences. A successful transition could lead to more balanced global trade relationships and potentially new opportunities for international businesses. However, a mismanaged transition or economic crisis in China could trigger global financial instability and disrupt supply chains worldwide. China's economic challenges could have far-reaching consequences for the global economy. As the world's second-largest economy and a major player in international trade, any instability in China could trigger a domino effect, affecting markets worldwide. The potential bursting of China's real estate bubble, coupled with its debt crisis, could lead to a global financial meltdown that makes the 2008 crisis look minor in comparison. Musk's warnings highlight the interconnectedness of the global economy and the importance of China's stability. A slowdown in China's manufacturing sector could disrupt global supply chains, leading to shortages and price increases for everyday goods worldwide. Moreover, China's pivot towards renewable energy could reshape global energy markets, affecting oil-producing nations and altering geopolitical relationships. As we look to the future, it's clear that China's economic decisions will play a crucial role in shaping the global economic landscape for years to come.